Welcome to edition 1 of, and welcome to Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm Laura and Jules. I'm an automotive engineer and expert, and today I have the honor of taking Jules across this beautiful festival and hill climb madness, as you can hear.
Blink and you miss the Cartier collection through juror eyes, Dan Cogger.
Or perhaps a glass of champagne with ex-motorsport director Richard Sutton, and perhaps also at that very balcony up there.
But first, let's go through this year's highlights. Do you think we can make it in 2 minutes, Laura?
2 minutes, that's going to be tough, but all right, let's race it. Come on. Festival of Speed 2025 is starting to get so hot. All the cars are firing up, and I tell you what, entering the supercar paddock is something which always gives me some shivers. I mean, they're really launching some of the greatest innovations out here and the latest, greatest cars. So there is one car I really want to show you. Let's go and check it out. So what I really wanted to show you is the car behind me, W16 engine. And the noise you can just hear now is the noise trying to cool down the engine because it accumulates so much heat. And this car just came down the hill. It produces 1600 horsepower, imagine that. And actually what fascinates me the most are the 2.5 G it's produced. And one more rumor, it actually cracked the Formula 1 track record of 231 miles per hour by a few more miles, but it did. So that must be insane going up the hill. Now it almost feels like Bella Italia, doesn't it? But actually, the F80 just launched dynamically in the UK. I must admit, I've been a little bit critical of the car first because it is quite a lot of car. But producing 1200 horsepower and seeing that, and actually having Lewis Hamilton claim for the car to be the best and fastest car road legally he's driven so far, I mean, really, I would like to have a go. The T50S Niki Lauda's Gordon Murray design, which we just checked out together with Dario Franchitti, the legend, is something which is going to give us some boost bumps. 12 cylinders, 12,100 RPM are gonna race up the hill in a minute. And why is it so special? Because Gordon Murray is celebrating 60 years of design this year.
Okay, ready?
Did we make it?
Did we make it?
Yes! So cool, 2 minutes. I would have not thought so.
Yes, this was a
Must
tough challenge, but we made it. I think now we spoke enough about this year's highlights of the festival. I think now it's time to meet some car people.
I would love pick some people's brains, so yes, let's go.
But wait, this one I know. Cartier?
Yes, so I thought I'd show you something very special. This is the Cartier Style Luxe Concours de Elegance. So within this fence, you see some private-owned cars being displayed for the Concours, which is happening tomorrow. They are all here to really show off the beauty, but also the stories behind it. And you know what? I have an idea. Let's try to meet Dan, because he is the expert here. I've judged with him last year on this Concours, and I think if we find him, he will tell us some background stories. Are you excited?
Yes, let's go.
Dan has been a judge here at Cartier, where he is selecting the best of show amongst other judges on Sunday this weekend. And I tell you what, amongst this amazing lawn hair, it's going to be very tough, and some of the owners might be sweating more than in the July sun here in Goodwood. Tell us something about why do we have this lineup of Veyrons here?
Well, very depressingly for people my age, the Veyron is now celebrating its 20th birthday, which I struggle to believe is true, but it absolutely is. And this was, of course, it is 20 years. It's terrifying, isn't it? But no, so it was obviously a seminal car for not only Bugatti, but the automotive world anyway. I think people refer to it as a Concours moment. A complete feat of engineering over any fiscal sense or any reason. Just one man, Ferdinand Piech's vision to build the greatest GT car, the fastest car, and bring Bugatti back properly to where it should be. So,
Do you know how fast that was?
252 miles an hour. And they developed it later on and it went 267 miles an hour. Which is fast enough for most people, right?
Shall we walk a little bit around?
Absolutely. And actually, the thing that's great about particularly Cartier this year is you look at this Veyron, which is immaculate in white, looks like a piece of porcelain. Another white car on the lawn, which you kind of think would have no relevance to this beyond the fact they share the same colour.
Right. The Invicta.
Exactly, the Invicta S-Type low chassis. And this car is from 1931. And much like the Veyron, was one of the fastest cars in the world at the time. And where the Veyron has pushed the barrier to above 250 miles an hour, in 1931 this was a car that pushed the barrier to above 100 miles an hour, which you think in 1931, if you were lucky, your mode of transport was public, either a bus or whatever. If you're lucky, or maybe you have your own Austin 7 or something, which might be able to do 50 miles an hour. And here's a car that can do 100 miles an hour, so it could double the speed of your average car, which is exactly what the Veyron did. And this car was actually owned by Raymond Mays, who was renowned for his fastidious nature. So all of his cars were immaculately presented. He had two of these, both in perfect white. And this was his first car, which did set the course record at Shelsley, raced at Brooklands. Just 5 years previously, you've got cars like the Rolls-Royces up here, which they're now celebrating their centenary, which is why we've got a class of Rolls-Royce Phantoms here. And these are all of what was described when they first came out in 1925 as the new Phantom, but we now retrospectively refer to them as the Phantom 1 because they've never stopped building ever since. We're now up to Phantom 8, I believe. But these are all Phantom 1s or new Phantoms, as a Rolls-Royce purist would ask me to refer to them. And you look at the Invicta, which is low, it's sporty, it's lead, it's very purposeful. Just 5 years earlier, you had a car like this, which looks very, very upright and quite boxy.
I just want to say it looks like for a king.
It is. Well, it's funny you should say that because this car is known as the Phantom of Love, and it was ordered new by a gentleman called Clarence Gask, and his wife was a Woolworths heiress, so used to the finer things in life. And he ordered this car as a gift for her, and it took so long to build that by the time it was built, it was already a little bit out of date stylistically. But the details inside it are amazing. You've got a fresco in the ceiling, a hand-painted fresco in the ceiling, the most amazing marquetry and ornament work. You'll see there's obviously a beautiful timepiece on the dashboard. These little flowers you see in the vases are handmade metal flowers that are hand-painted. Tapestry fabrics, and you mentioned looks like a car for the kings.
Exactly.
Queens would be more appropriate because the interior is actually modelled on those sedan carriages that would be carried by 4 footmen for Marie Antoinette.
If you could take one of the keys, which one would you take?
I think I'm a big pre-war guy, but I think there is one car here which ticks every single box, and it is the Ferrari 212 Export. It is a car you can do everything with. It was a car designed of a period where cars were not only road cars, but they could go rallying, racing, touring, all sorts. The cars like this one, the Tour de France, they entered Le Mans. There was a sports car race for the Monaco Grand Prix, I believe in 1953, for the first and only time. So if you were to have a car like that today, beyond the London to Brighton veteran car run, that is a ticket to every single event. You can go and do everything with that car, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful little 2.5 litre V12, and it's stunning touring superleggera body. I think it's 50s Ferraris for me, the coach-built 50s Ferraris. There's something really special about them. And I think a lot of people's misconception might be that every Ferrari was bodied or designed by Pininfarina. Well, there's an absolute stunner from touring, and it's beautiful.
Richard! How are you?
Well,
How has everything been?
very good. Yeah, no, it's an exceptional year here. I think actually this
All
year.
warm as well.
Yeah, and I think it's particularly special because of the 75 years of Formula One
Please, and then we have 60 years of Gordon Murray.
and 60 years of Gordon Murray as well, of course. Yeah. Because also you very often in the paddocks, because Formula One cars or historic Formula One cars are made by so many different brands. So you have Benesons and Surteeses and Tolmans and Brabhams and all those different things and Lotuses. You don't have lots of big corporate lineups.
Very true.
And that's amazing this year, in particular this year.
Before we're digging deeper into it, how can I introduce you? Ex-motorsport director of Goodwood?
Yeah, I was for until 2006, yeah. And I joined the business in its sort of 2.5 year, I suppose. So and in fact, the Cartier event where we are at the moment was the first That's how we got involved. We wanted to create something that was very different from a normal Concours d'Elegance. And the Cartier Style Luxe isn't really a Concours d'Elegance, it's an automobile design competition. That's what it was created as originally. So the idea was that all 50 of the cars here, they are all being judged as objects of design, and the judges don't necessarily have to know anything about cars, but they're artists, they're creative people who have great eyes.
Mark Newson this year?
Mark Newson's a bit of a regular actually, yeah, and a heavyweight designer, of course, really one of the world's sort of top most. Some people like Johnny Ive and Fabio Manzoni was about. And it always gives an unconventional result because it isn't necessarily the car that would win Pebble Beach or Villa d'Este or something like that. It's something which is very particular to him.
Coming back to like what your vision was.
Well, it's not really my vision. I just kind of wanted to come up with something a bit new, and it was with the then Earl of March, now the Duke, and this was our idea. So, and in fact, the first 1 or 2 Cartier events we did, the cars were all pre-war. In fact, the first one we did was 50 cars, and every one of them had to have original paint. I wasn't going to have an entry unless it had original paint.
Do you actually mind taking me a little bit through your Goodwood? What was the idea back then, and how do you see it today?
The idea at that time, fundamentally, if you wanted to see new cars, you had to go to motor shows, which we just thought was a bit of a crazy concept. I mean, why go to the Earl's Court Motor Show or even Geneva, really, where you've got a car that's static. It's not seen, it's not working, it's not going anywhere.
Natural light and artificial light, very crammed in with everyone.
And quite elitist and very difficult. So one of the things was to think, well, look, a lot of money is being spent out there on marketing, but the cars aren't being seen. And also his vision at that time was to develop the Revival Meeting, which was launched in '98. And this was a kind of almost a holding idea at the beginning. He said, well, let's just do a hill climb, because there was a hill climb before the war here, so there was a legitimate reason for recreating the hill climb. But then it became apparent that actually this was a live motor show. It was much more than just a hill climb. And then there came the problem of, you've got a sponsor, well, how do you then have a rival sponsor? So you have to get to the point where everyone wants to be there, and that's the real trick, is you make something that's so engaging and emotionally exciting and of a standard that everyone just wants to come.
One other piece I really love is always the statue in the middle.
Oh yes.
This year, Gordon Murray, 60 years.
Yeah.
When was that born? Like, how did
it started fairly early on. I mean, it was a big issue because they're expensive, and in the early days, there weren't the budget. This wasn't the budget for this sort of thing. But we started the idea. Always very much Lord March's idea with Jerry Judah, who's the fantastic installation artist who's done all of them. And Jerry's a complete genius, and we all love him. So this year, Gordon, I think, got quite involved, but because he's a designer himself, of course. The thing about this place is there's never any compromise on anything. You know, it just has to be done to a certain standard, and it's everywhere.
Jules! Hi, Laura! I've been searching for you. There's so many incredible cars here. I got lost of it.
I totally feel you. I mean, it's very special, isn't it? But you just missed Richard Sutton, the ex-motorsport director. I need to introduce him to you. We will meet him, but we will meet him somewhere very special. Let's go.
Okay.
Richard, thank you so much for giving us.
Enjoy it. Start
really
down there.
beautiful.
Main bridge there, and it goes that way.
It's fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Ciao,
Richard.
Richard.
Bye. So this is our first edition one-off lap of Goodwood 2025. V10 singing, W16s howling, and at least one host losing her voice.
But that's called natural aspiration, I would say. Yes. So thank you guys so much for sprinting through this madness with us.
Thank you.
And see you to the next episode.
See you, bye.